Ciso. Oh, it's fabulous! A strike to get you up off your seats.
Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social, Season 5, Episode 13. Bloody hell, we are flying, Jackery. How was Bournemouth?
Yeah, great day out. Lot of alcohol consumed.
Just your average Saturday then, really?
Yeah, just a nice day out with friends. Really nice to go down there and actually win, because I've been there. I think that was my 12th visit to Bournemouth, and I'd seen us win once or twice before. So yeah,
But yeah, under De Zerbi, right? With the most recent one.
first league win in something like 15 years down there.
Crazy.
So yeah, no, it was nice. It was nice to. And then after last year, where we just played like a comedy 11. No disrespect, but I remember him starting like fucking a fire and O'Mahony when they just clearly weren't ready to play. It was a very strange day, that one.
But you know, they deserve. They got what they got after. You know, what did they say before the game? It was like a proper seaside town or something like that. Didn't they? The Bournemouth admin.
I mean, that's just stupid. Why would you put like Igor in a ice cream truck, like serving ice cream? Really weird thing to do. Like, I do think some social media managers, like, obviously I get it's kind of all a bit of fun, but at the same time, like, you've got to not do stupid stuff like that, or you're just gonna, you know, like, I get it. It's fun to be a fun social media manager, but you're still a professional football club. You've got to be a bit more professional. That's just my take on it. Coming from the man who posted an Alan Partridge gif when he was in control of the Whitehawk Twitter thing, but you know, it's all relative. So the very
it's not your
strange
job, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly.
What were you thinking? Actually, no, I want to touch on this ice cream thing more, because then obviously João Pedro puts it on his story, the ice cream +3. I thought that was incredible. So who would have told him that?
Maybe they would have found it. I don't know. It was a very strange situation. Like, I don't know why Bournemouth would even do that. Like I said, I just find all this stuff a bit odd sometimes.
Yeah, at least we had the last laugh. Yeah, João Pedro. They must have seen it before the game. Like,
yeah, definitely.
With Igor serving ice cream, if admin or one of the Brighton players has seen it, they might have shared it around the dressing room before the game. It's obviously quite funny. I wish João Pedro had done an ice cream celebration. That would have been quite good. But I guess it was only 4 minutes in when we did score. But I mean, I was going to say what a goal, but I mean, it's a very good goal, because you know, whenever a number 9 pushes onto the goal like that after a shot from outside the box, let's just trying their luck, and when it does pay off, it's very good. But I mean, it's Rutter's shot, but that link-up play, Jack, before was phenomenal. I guess I do want to ask, this was the first time we saw Pedro, Rutter and Welbeck start together, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and when I saw that, I thought, oh my God, I cannot wait to watch this match. I was looking forward to watching the match anyway, because Bournemouth have been playing very, very well. They've had a lot of plaudits under Areola, but I mean, I don't know why this game wasn't televised anyway. Me and my housemate were saying, how the hell is this game not televised? But you've got Liverpool versus Liverpool versus Southampton on today. It's like weird. I know Liverpool are a big club, but still, a lot of football purists would have wanted to see Bournemouth versus Brighton, and it was a good game in the end. But when you saw those three starting together, Jack, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, like, I think the link-up play worked really well. I was a bit hesitant of Rutter off the right. I think he's more of a central player, but he sort of played, you know, right, cutting in a bit more. He seemed to be drifting in a bit more central, and I suppose that gives, Veltman a bit of opportunity to push up. So it's very, you know, it's a very different kind of play, but I think we did really, really well with that. Really exciting.
Must have been a nightmare for the defenders, because like you had João Pedro just drifting off randomly. Welbeck would suddenly be out on the left, and to imagine marking those three, because they're obviously all tricky players, but they're all very, very big physical lads as well.
Yeah, and like one thing that, like, in the first half, I think where we were all standing, we were having a discussion, like, Rutter's work rate is absolutely superb. Like, his tracking back, going forward, it was fantastic. I think he did a great tackle in the box in the first half at some point.
Yeah.
On Semenyo, it might have been, who seemed to be rattled all game, Semenyo. He really had an ineffective game. I think, you know, fantastic work rate and fantastic player. And I think Pedro drops deep as well. You know, he really comes down to collect the ball. Nice hold-up play, and I think that you know, that little link up for the goal was like some of the best football we've played all season, probably.
Yeah, Danny Welbeck loves that flick, doesn't he? But now he's got like now he's got tricky players around him that can get onto those sorts of flicks and read those sorts of things. You know, I feel like that's always been in Danny Welbeck's locker, but not maybe the right person next to him to do it to. But we didn't do a Bournemouth preview because we're all busy people. But what were you thinking when you were going into that game? Were you thinking I'd happily take a draw here?
Do you know what? I genuinely I couldn't call this game. It was a game where I really couldn't go. I think we're both in very good form. And as much as they just slagged off Semenyo there, I still think Bournemouth a very good side. Like, despite, I think it ended up being tighter than it probably deserved. Like, I think Bournemouth had a real off day, and on another day probably
Massively,
with 11 men we might have gone on to get a third and seen the game off. But I think we're both very good teams. We're kind of challenging the establishment a little bit this season. I mean, you look at our recent records and they're pretty much identical with us beating City and them beating Arsenal. Maybe we drew at Arsenal. So we're very similar in that way. I really like Iraola. I think he's done a great job with them. So, yeah, the hard one to call. I think we're in cracking form and they've got some very, very talented players. Like you say, Justin Kluivert. That was one that you mentioned earlier. Semenyo when he wants to be. They were really they're a good side. So I think it's a very remarkable result. Yesterday.
Yeah, sorry, I was just having a sneezing.
Yeah, I thought I'd carry on talking while you sort of die in the corner of the screen.
That's very nice of you. I'm not even hungover, I think, probably for the first time in podcast history. Yeah. No, I mean, going into the game, I was thinking, not just because we won, but I was thinking this could be more of like a weird, not a statement, but I know Bournemouth away isn't usually a statement, but it's one of those ones where you think, I would have taken a draw because they've been playing so well. I think this would have been their fourth win at home in a row. But like to then play how we did, and obviously they had a little bit of an off day, I guess, but to come away with that result before the red card, I was thinking this was pretty much in cruise control. Our defence looked very, very solid. I feel like that would have been a very, very good statement victory if we then maybe got 3-0. But I mean, just winning how we did anyway was very, very good. So it does show where we are now. I mean, we had the tiniest of blips at the beginning of the season, I guess, when we stopped picking up results, but we're looking so good now. And I know I say it every time, but imagine if we had those 2 extra points from Ipswich and those 2 extra points from Wolves, Jack. I think I don't think we'd be top, but we'd be second. I think we'd be second even with 2 more extra points from Ipswich or Wolves. That would be unbelievable. So to have the start we've had, I think it's the best start we've had in Premier League history, in our Premier League history anyway. So yeah, it's an unbelievable statement result. Obviously we did score and then didn't really do too much after that, really. Bournemouth then played much, much better. But yeah, I guess if it wasn't for their passing, Jack, their poor passing, I think there was a stat they had like, towards the end of the game, they must have had like 28 balls into the box. Yeah. But just no one was ever getting on the end of them.
Yeah. I think, I did think Bournemouth were very wasteful. I thought for about 70, 80 minutes they had a real off day and then they sort of trying to turn the screw in towards the end with... I mean, you're always going to try to do that when you're playing against 10 men. It's always going to be something you do. So I don't think that's too much of an indictment on us or on them. But first half, they were all over the place. Like they were misplacing passes straight. I think the conditions definitely played a part. Like it was a pretty miserable day down in sunny Bournemouth. But I think what's key when you're playing these games in very miserable conditions, like really horrible conditions, is you get an early goal. And then you make the other team chase it because no one wants to be playing in those conditions. It's hard to get the ball down. Bournemouth players were slipping over, stuff like that. And I think if you can get that early goal in, you're making the other team work harder and harder. And then all you have to do is sort of sit back. And I think the defence was marshalled like superbly. I think I sang his name the entire way home.
The best looking Dutchman. Oh.
Yeah, like Jan-Paul van Hecke was superb at centre back. So. I think the only slight disappointment is he did keep Brooks on side for the goal, but you've got to take that.
But on the flip side, he did keep Kluivert just inches offside. Yeah, their goal was disallowed in the first half. So, Jack, where do you rate Van Hecke in Premier League centre backs? I think you said before you don't like rating people like this, but he's got to be up there now, though, surely.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely up there with some of the best this season. A bit more, a very consistent run. I mean, he was very, very good last season. I think he came into his own last season. Which, you know, going back to his debut, like, I think I weirdly spoke to his brother about this, where I was like, yeah, he was terrible in his debut. I think his debut was Leicester away. Although he did play against Forest Green Rovers in the League Cup, but after that, his league debut, he played against Leicester, and I think he was at fault for both goals, and you sort of thought, oh, I'm not sure whether this guy is going to be good. And then he played against Newcastle, also had a shocker there. And then, you know, his making was against Haaland in the last game of the season. And ever since then, he's just been like on an upward trajectory. Like, you know, his passing's very good. You know, his tackling, you know, for a guy who looks like a bit of a, like, and no offence intended, he looks like a bit of a lumbering oaf. Like, he's very, very quick and very sharp with the tackling. So, yeah, I think
especially when he 2-foot Semenya and
definitely.
The game. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I know. I think I was having a discussion with a Bournemouth fan, and they both in agreement that Belieber wasn't a red, but they were like, I think Van Heck was pretty lucky to stay on the pitch.
Yeah, it was almost 2-footed.
Yeah, I think he was quite lucky to stay on the pitch at the end there. So, yeah, that was an interesting one. But yeah, no, I think he's up there with some of the best in the league. I mean, the best centre back in the league for me is probably one of like Saliba or something like that. And I think he's probably not quite that level, but he's up there. He's up there, definitely up there.
Wow. Very good. And then obviously next to him is Igor, who, again, for someone that serves ice cream in Bournemouth, was very, very good and has been really, really good for us since Dunk's been out. He still, for some reason, gets random hate online, maybe not recently against Bournemouth because he was very good against them. But I still think, I think he's very, very good. And I'm looking at Lewis Dunk coming back from injury and thinking, would I want Dunk to come back at this point? Because Igor has that pace as well, and he has the strength that Dunk possesses. Obviously, Dunk's been an incredible servant for us, but it's not as black and white as it used to be with Dunk coming back from injury. You think straight in the team, but I know he will because he's our captain and has been an unbelievable servant and our best player for many, many a year. But it is maybe now a little bit of a discussion whether you do start Lewis Dunk ahead of Igor. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, like that was the big debate, wasn't it, before the game? Like, do we bring Dunk in? I mean, Dunk wasn't fit in the end, so it was a pretty irrelevant conversation. But I think Igor's been really, really good. I think a player in the summer who weirdly was like, I think a lot of people were kind of like, if he goes, he goes. You know, he's De Zerbi's signing at the end of the day. Like he's De Zerbi's man. That's not to say that De Zerbi's, you know, that particularly matters. And I do think I think probably the reason he gets hate is because he's quite a how do I say it?
Interesting character.
No, he's like he's an unorthodox player. Like he will do something that will make you shit yourself, but he'll get away with it, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, he'll knock the ball so far forward you're thinking, oh, he's lost it.
Yeah, like he's taking too heavy a touch and then he runs through it. Like, and I can't fault him on that because he does really well with it. So I think that's why some people like watching him is a bit of a roller coaster, and I like that though. I like someone who keeps you on the edge of your seat. He's proper Brighton, you know. Someone who's a bit mental, but is ultimately quite good. Bit of a cult hero, I think.
I definitely think he's definitely getting there.
He's been a bit of a cult hero this season for me. Because I do remember at Newcastle some guy going like, every time Igor touches the ball, you're so stressed, man. And I was like, I'm stressed. But it always comes off. So, I think Igor's been fantastic, you know, and a big shout out yesterday has to go to Joel Veltman. Like, I thought Joel Veltman, he was up to his absolute bastard best. Yeah. He was winding up Semenyo all game, and Semenyo was, like I say, he was rattled. He had no idea what he was doing. And do you know what? I think, you know, Veltman just very quietly had very good performances this season against some teams. I mean, there's been some games where I think I've been a little bit critical of him, and I don't think he's been amazing. But like his top performances go very, very under the radar. Like against City, I thought he's very good. He's just a very solid right back, and for his age, he's doing amazing. Yeah,
he's one of those players that, like we say it a lot, puts in the 7 out of 10 every week, which means that he doesn't really go too far above the radar. Like no one goes, oh, he's been incredible. It's just because he's so consistently good. And the dark arts as well, incredible. Obviously earlier in the week, he went to the premiere of or maybe it was last week, went to the premiere of the Stand or Fall. And like, I mean, even Admin used it as the caption. I think it's like saying he gets it, but he does, like just showing that.
Yeah, definitely.
Little bit of passion, a little bit of like, oh, I want to learn a little bit more about the club. I don't think he knew. He said he got goosebumps during periods of it. I think he didn't really know fully like our history.
Yeah,
So he thought he'd take himself there, and I just thought he does get it, and I would not want to see that man leave the club anytime soon. He's getting to like the part of the furniture like Pascal Gross was. He absolutely is part of the furniture of Veltman.
Yeah,
I would hate to see him go because he's such a solid player.
And I think as well, like I think probably some of the criticism would come in this season, that maybe we've lacked experience a bit in certain times, like the Wolves game. And I think he's the perfect level of experience to come in and sort of, he's got a cool head, especially with the absence of Dunk. So yeah, that's I think he's done fantastic really. So for me, yeah, definitely like Veltman up there, done so well this season. And it was nice to. I would expect the whole squad to be taken and seen the film.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
maybe Hersley will do that. Maybe Hersley will do that for one session.
I mean, I don't know if you saw the film. I can't remember if you did. I don't think you did.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Like, honestly, fantastic film. Like so well done. If you get a chance to see it, I think someone said it might be coming out on TNT. Don't hold me to that. That's
really
written on the grapevine somewhere.
Oh, that's cool.
Who
actually produced it then? It wasn't to do with the club, was it?
No, the guy called Matt Lorenzo, who's the director. Very, very... but no, it's like fantastically done. Like, really, really well. Really told the story well. I think, it could have gone into more detail at times. Like, I think for me, I want to see an hour of Mark McGee interviews, but I don't think anybody else wants to see an hour of Mark McGee interviews. So, but yeah, no, honestly, an amazing...
If it was a PG, maybe not.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I want to see him fight Leon Knight, like on camera.
What? Kick him off the bus on the M5?
Kick him off the bus. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's it's nice to see Veltman go there and sort of get the club in that way.
I would have paid a lot of money to see like a Brighton all or nothing during that period.
Also,
getting thrown off the bus.
Also, like from every single person I know who's met him, said he's like literally the nicest man in the world. So yeah. So that's always good, isn't it?
so he's not a Brighton fan now, this Matt Lorenzo, is he?
I can't remember.
Okay. I mean, it'd be strange if he just... Well, not strange, but appreciate it if he has just taken it upon himself.
Yeah, I think
not being a Brighton fan, but yeah. Congrats, mate. I mean, if I remember to, I will put a link, if there is any sort of link that I can put down. But yeah, if not, go and watch it. I will be doing the exact same. It's on the to-do list. It definitely is on the to-do list. Well, let's get back to the match. Bournemouth did have the ball in the net in the first half, but... It was deemed offside. I mean, Jack, obviously you were at the game. You thought it was Evan Nilsson who looked miles offside, but it wasn't.
We everybody in the ground thought it was like a country mile offside. We were like, and then it just kept on going on, and it was like, oh, maybe this is a lot closer than we think it was. But
yeah, so the ball didn't go to Evan Nilsson first, who was the one that was miles offside. Yeah, so it goes to Justin Kluivert first. And honestly, I don't know if you've seen the images yet, but because it was such a horrendous day, the wind must have been blowing into the VAR camera. And it just looked like it was filmed with a potato, and it looked like it had blur over it. And
I think I saw that.
They were zooming into it, and I was like, "How are they even going to put the lines here?" Because they just look like splodges.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like we got quite lucky because I don't know if it was on. It wasn't clear cut at all.
No. There wasn't too much protest though from Bournemouth side. So.
People in the stadium probably thought it was Evan Nilsson. It
was a long way. Like it looked a long way off anyway. And I don't know whether that was the perspective exactly where I sat, but I was in line. So maybe the camera angle or the camera timing because it looked like a potato. Maybe that didn't tell the whole picture. Maybe the whole picture was that it was quite far offside. So who knows really? So
perhaps
it's an interesting one.
It was.
Yeah, that could have changed the game completely. So
massively.
Yeah, good we got away with that one.
It was good we got away with that. Yeah, we're going to the first half, going to half time. 1-0 up, and then we come out and pretty much score again. Whose ball was it? Was it Ayari's ball out? No, I mean Ayari's ball was out, and it looked like it was going miles wide and just out for a throw in. Rutter somehow runs back to get it, and then just does a phenomenal run inside. And I'm like, Rutter is quickly becoming one of my favourite Brighton players. Charges into the centre of the box just outside. Gives it to Welbeck. Gives it to Pedro, I think.
Yeah.
But I was watching the highlights this morning, and Pedro's like scanning, looking at Matoma constantly, even when the ball's on the other side of the pitch. Just knows the run that Matoma's going to do. But that ball was unbelievable.
Filth. That
pure filth. Did you see that? It was
pure filth. And it was like the way it just run, and then it was just, the deftest finish from Matoma. Just puts that into the corner. I will be honest though, in the ground, I didn't see that goal because I was in the toilet. So, yeah,
I know those goals you'd never see them because I'd still be at the bar trying to flip down my
yeah, exactly, yeah. So I did miss that goal, and I was just having a discussion with someone before that happened that I'd take a 1-1. So that was excellently done. But yeah, no, I mean that ball, watching that back, it's just complete and utter filth.
If I feel like it's not getting the plaudits it deserves. Again, maybe because it wasn't on TV, but
yeah,
I feel like that João Pedro, just the goal in itself, the João Pedro pass alone, how is that not being mentioned online as much as it would be? If that was any other player for a big city club, it would be all over the fucking feed for ages, throughout days upon end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of good, I guess. It works both ways because if João Pedro is getting more plaudits, then he'll probably be getting snapped up this summer. So
yeah, exactly.
As long as we keep quiet, let's just keep doing what we're doing, not getting any plaudits. Will be fine.
His form over the last 2 games is phenomenal as well. Really, if you think about it, like goal and assist against City and a goal and assist against Bournemouth, like yeah. For me, you can't doesn't look any better than that's a superb little run there. It shows how important he is to us now he's back.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I just can't wait to see those Welbeck. Which is mental saying Welbeck's name with Rutter and João Pedro, but those 3 playing together. And Matoma, what a front 4 that is.
I know.
Genuinely, that's insane.
Yeah. And the options we have. The options we have on top of that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yesterday we didn't even see Gruder. We didn't even see Enciso. We didn't even see, like...
Minter.
March. Yeah, like...
Adingra. Oh, no, Adingra came on. But again, we've mentioned 5 players there that can then come on.
Yeah, definitely. So the depth is phenomenal. The depth is absolutely phenomenal.
Matt O'Reilly on the bench. I mean, I absolutely love Yasin Ayari, which is so that Ayari Baleba midfield is just probably my favourite too at the moment.
Definitely.
I still can't believe how good Ayari is.
Yeah,
it's just such a great surprise. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows on the Dorset coast because on the 59th minute, the referee probably makes one of the worst decisions I've seen this season at least. I mean, there's a lot of bad decisions every single week, but. Fuck me! How has that
it's
been
a shocker.
Given?
It's a shocker. I can't even fathom why the referee thought that's a second yellow card. I think their bench has caused that. I mean, but I'm not gonna blame the bench. If that makes sense.
Yeah. It was right in front of the Bournemouth.
Yeah, and also that's how every bench reacts. Like I'm not gonna sit there and go like, oh yeah, Bournemouth aren't allowed to react like that to stuff. But it's just weak refereeing. He's not touched him. He's falling around holding his foot. And look, I think Lewis Cook is a very good player on his day, but he's an absolute bastard of a player.
Yeah.
And how he wasn't on a yellow at that point. I mean, it sorted itself out for the accumulator because he got one for yellow. He got a yellow for dissent quite late on. But I don't know. That was and Cook gave away a foul just before that. I think it's just a terrible piece of refereeing, like as a whole. I think Atwell is just like, if we were a bigger club, or a mental club with a mental owner, not looking at you, Nottingham Forest, but, like Forest, their owner's just fucking mental. I respect that in a way. We'd be kicking off more about Atwell. Atwell in games against us has been so poor, like requesting he doesn't referee games with us. He was the referee. He was involved in the Tottenham game, where that one a few years ago.
What, the Lallana Harry Kane thing?
No, with the where we lost 2-1 and we had 4 penalties turned down that were all nailed on penalties and handballs and lost 2-1 with the Derby. Yeah. And I just think the refereeing standard is just shit. And I think there's been a lot over the international break. I mean, the main character of the international break's been David Coote. And I just think the level of respect referees are going to get now is going to go through the floor. As much as I do think people have gone a bit overboard with the whole David Coote, dragging up all his personal life and everything. Who really cares? He's gone with the referee now. He won't be refereeing. But how are people meant to respect the referees when you've got terrible performances again and again and again? Yeah. And you've got them not garnering any respect, and that decision is just a shocking decision all round. And look, we got away with it in the end, and I actually thought we looked very comfortable with 10 men. I don't think I think it gave a wake up call to the defence. Right, you need to sort yourself out and
It's more just a shame though, like because I thought we could have gone on and got 3.
Yeah, and also
the way we
like
were looking and the subs we could have brought on, a CISO who didn't obviously come on, maybe because we had to set up
and definitely like I think something that I think needs to be had a look at VAR review procedure is number one, we can't appeal that Belaber second yellow card. So he won't be available for Southampton regardless. There will be no appeal because you can't appeal them. And I think there does need to be a VAR process for second yellow card. Like, if you're getting a second yellow card, there should be a VAR review to say, right, is that a yellow or isn't that a yellow? I understand that people don't want VAR being used for everything. But a second yellow card is just as important as a goal.
Yes, it is a red card.
It's a red card. And it seems to me stupid that we can't review that part of it when we could review a straight red. For me, that just seems crazy to me.
I don't understand, so correct me if I'm wrong, but why couldn't Stuart Atwell have thought, right, that could be a decision to make here. Let's let the ball go out of play, because it was going out of play, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it wasn't, but let's wait until the ball goes out of play, and then VAR will review it, and then review if it's a second yellow or not. Well, rather than making a quick decision going, yeah, that is a second yellow. But it wasn't even that quick. It looked like he walked over and then thought, all right, no, this is a second yellow.
Well, this is the problem. Like, you just can't review. You can't. VAR doesn't get involved with second yellow cards, and that needs to change in the process. I think the only way that it would have got involved was violent conduct or a professional foul. Then they would have upgraded it to a straight red. I don't really know how that 100% works, but I just think it's such a poor review when it is so impactful on the game. Like, that was massively impacting on the game, and. We were comfortable. But we were comfortable with 10 men, so I wasn't too disappointed with that. But yeah, just a shocking piece of refereeing all round. Like, because it should have been a foul in the build-up, and I don't know whether he played advantage. I don't know.
Oh, what for the João? Yeah, the João Pedro one, was it? João got clattered, didn't he?
Yeah, and it's just sort of like, why? This is like, it's. I just thought it was piss poor from the referee.
Well, yeah, so it did. They got I think, João got clattered maybe by Lewis Kirk, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was Lewis Kirk.
But the ball got played through to Danny Welbeck by Rutter, I think.
Yeah.
But it was just way too far ahead. But the referee played advantage for that, even though the pass went wayward. And then literally João Pedro's still on the floor by the time. Well, it's just getting up by the time Belaber's kind of clipped. What's his name? Cherries or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Kirkes,
yeah.
He was actually, separately on Kirkes, he's a player who did quite impress me for Bournemouth yesterday.
Oh, mate, he's unreal.
Very good player.
He's so good. He's linked with Liverpool, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a very, very good player, so that's one that stood out for
he'll be a
Bournemouth
big club soon.
But I just thought...
Bournemouth are going to be experienced maybe a little bit of what we've had to go through.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just piss poor refereeing, and
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a endemic problem. Like, you see so many bad decisions across the league, and it's just because I do think there is a bigger debate about like what motivates referees, why we don't have good referees. I do think like the abuse the other way around, especially at a lower level, means that a lot of people don't get into it, so you don't get good quality. Also, like, you see people being held back, like I know people who are referees, some who are fantastic referees, but they can't get higher. And like they're really good referees, and there are some very good young referees coming through who know how to control game, talk to people sensibly.
So they gatekeep it though. That's the thing.
Yeah, and exactly, like, it is a boys' club. It is like people at the top sort of want to help each other out, and there is quite a good generation of referees coming through, but they need to be given chances. And
but they're not, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly, and. I think it needs a serious shake-up, the refereeing organisation, especially after the David Coote stuff. Like, there'll be a lot of scrutiny.
They said they were aware of it, right? And then I don't think Coote refereed the Liverpool game after that.
He didn't until bizarrely against Villa at the weekend, where he actually gave them some good decisions. But I just think the establishment of referees, like Fabian says, but I think it does. It just needs someone to come in, smash it to pieces, because it's the same entrenched problems that they're having, where they're not reading games properly. And I also don't believe the European refs are better argument as well. That's kind of shit as well. Like, I just remember that referee we had for the first game against AEK Athens in the Europa League.
Oh, mate.
And he got like every single VAR decision wrong, didn't he? Which was a shocker. So, but so... for me,
it didn't matter with the result though, Jack, but it did mean that I was stressed for another 37 minutes, which was not necessary.
The worst thing is he won't be available in the next game.
Luckily, it's only against Southampton.
Yeah, well,
I say only.
Yeah, now you've done it, Ben, haven't you? Yeah, and also like the one thing I will say, somebody who I probably haven't given stick, but let's just say he hasn't had the best starts. I think even he would admit he hasn't had the best start. But Weaver came on to replace Belieber in that holding role, and he was superb yesterday for that last half hour. He was fantastic.
There's definitely a player in there. I'm not worried
100%.
about him not being a good signing because I know that he will be. But it's just I'm glad that he finally did. And I think Hersler went up to him and smiled at him and gave him a bit of a pat on the back.
Yeah, and
that was a performance that he desperately needed.
And he just solidified us. And, in that midfield, he broke up play. He moved the ball around really well. Do you know, it's a very Stevens-esque performance, which a player who got a lot of flack back in there and was always very important to us. So, yeah.
A player that does the basics well.
100%. So
then, obviously... pretty stressful 37 minutes that followed after Belaber's second yellow. Again, not a necessary second yellow, but here we are. That happened. David Brooks gets a goal. And I'm thinking, are we doing Wolves all over again? I think it was after that or before that. No, it was before that, actually, before the goal. Funny enough, I think Adingra had the ball on the wing, gave it to Evan Ferguson. You can hear Hersler going, corner flag on the stream.
Yeah.
And then Adingra then gets the ball back and decides not to go to the corner flag and cuts inside. And they try and attack, to be fair, because it looked like the better option at the time. And obviously we lose the ball and you see Hersler like, oh, fucking hell, not again. And then Bournemouth go on the attack. But he's obviously got PTSD from that decision. And then at full time, Hersler's on the pitch and goes to Adingra going, I said corner flag. And then Adingra's like, I couldn't do it, whatever. But he's obviously got PTSD from the Wolves one. And so do I, to be fair, because when Brooks scored that, I was like, oh no, here we go. And then, oh my God, Jack Semenya's volley from the box.
Didn't watch it. I had my head in my hands. Didn't even know what happened. I thought, right, they're going to literally do this and it'll be done with. To be fair, I think it was a lot further. It was like it cracked the bar pretty hard. It wasn't like dipping at all. So it's not as, but it's a great volley, isn't it? Like if that got in, that would have probably been up there goal of the season. But I will say another player who I thought very, very good was Verbruggen. Verbruggen showed what he's worth in that game. Like his levels of goalkeeping is just going up and up and up. One mistake really this season against Tottenham. And that didn't matter in the grand scheme of things, did it?
Yeah.
So, fantastic performance from him as well.
Good. I
was going to say, David Brooks always scores against us. Like, since the dawn of time. And fair play, he's been through a lot, and I think
I was going to say, I'm not going to complain about David Brooks.
He seems like a great guy as well, but he's a great guy, but please stop scoring against us, mate. Like, seriously.
He's taking the reins from Callum Wilson, obviously.
Yeah, and I think he's got unlucky, David Brooks, because I remember him playing against us. Probably it was under Houghton, so a long time ago. And he scored 2 goals against us, and I remember him looking like a world beater. And I thought he would go right to the top, and he's obviously had his illness, so that probably stopped that, which is a shame because I do think he's a very quality player. So and it's a great quality finish, to be fair. So, but I think it was just too late. It was just too late in the game for them to sort of get the foothold and get one back. And then ultimately, I just don't think we would have been in that position had Belieber been on the pitch.
No, absolutely not. So it kind of worked out well. I mean, if we, honestly, I probably wouldn't be here because I'd be so angry. If we had gone on to draw that game after that Belieber sending off, I would have lost my head.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I would have absolutely lost my head. So, I'm glad that didn't happen for Stuart Atwell.
Yeah.
And for the PGMOL, because this morning they would have faced a lot of tweets last night and this morning, I'm sure. I've got to go to work in a bit, so Jack, we will wrap up. If there's anything else you want to say?
Not really. I think, it's just a great day out. Great to beat Bournemouth. Fantastic day for the football club.
It is,
one thing I will say, actually, very quickly, I think I said this about the Newcastle game. Newcastle game was a remarkable result. Like, to get a point, 3 points there in a place where I think, how long was it since they'd lost there? A long time since they'd lost there.
Newcastle, you're talking about.
Yeah, Newcastle. And I think it's the same with Bournemouth. I think only a few teams have taken points there this season.
Only Chelsea have taken win there this season.
Exactly. And only Chelsea. And look, I think Chelsea, as much as we like to say that Brighton B, Chelsea are a very good side. So, for me, I think that's a very, very remarkable result. And I think that's the thing that I think Hersler keeps on pulling out the bag. Just very remarkable results that I don't think anyone really saw coming.
Very clinical as well, which is what we love to see. Yeah. And Jack, let's talk about the run quickly. Southampton are home on Friday. A game we should win, like we should have beaten Wolves at Ipswich. So fingers crossed we get 3 points there.
Yeah.
Followed by Fulham away, who lost 4-1 at home to Wolves somehow.
I think that shows that shows, just following on from the Wolves thing you just said, I think it shows that Wolves are a lot better than I think. I think it is perceived like, I think a 2-2 draw against Wolves will look a lot better come the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think Cunha's a fantastic player.
Oh my god, he is literally like that. You know that meme where you have that gold garbage bag in?
Yeah.
That's literally what Cunha is. He is fucking phenomenal. That goal he scored. Both goals he scored. The touch and then.
Oh, the one that was like Burkamp
Mate,
goal.
so,
Sorry,
yeah,
completely separate game we're talking about here. But
he'll be going to someone in January, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Fulham away, Leicester away, Palace at home, West Ham away, Brentford at home, and then Villa away before January. There's points to be had, Jack, and hopefully we'll be at the top of the tree come Christmas.
We're going to lose one of them because we always bloody do, don't we?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
All right. But I think, even Villa are having poor form at the moment. So, it'd be interesting to see how we get on.
In the words of my new friend Castillo, it's looking good, Brev.
Yeah, well,
and on that note, can we get you saying it's looking good, Brev?
It's looking good, Brev.
That was awful. For that, like, subscribe, leave us a review on Spotify and comment below saying what should I say, Jack?
I don't know.
Just get creative in the comments then.
Yeah,
because my brain's fried, which is not good when I've got work in 3 minutes. So anyway,
on a Sunday.
Yeah, mate, the grind never stops.
The grind never stops. He's not wrong. The grind does never stop. Despite me being jobless, according to everybody, the grind never stops. I've got to go watch.
The reason he can afford clothes is because he gets sent stuff by the Art of Football. That's the only reason he's wearing clothes right now.
I'm going to go watch the women now, so hopefully they can get a good
Do
result. What? Women play football.
Right, got you. Cool.
No crime for me today.
Today?
Yeah, today. So, but they're doing really well. They're in the European places. So we could have 2 teams in Europe next season.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Which would be amazing. Amazing to see.
A historic 2025 is pending for the Brighton.
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
Brighton Seagulls. All right. Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
I will catch you. Well, we got to probably do a Southampton preview.
Yeah, we should probably start doing previews again.
Yeah, we should. It's just busy. But cheers, Jack, and take care. We'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye. Bye.